Well, hello, everybody. My name is Dale Reagan Wilson, and I am the mayor of Billings, Montana. And Montana is such a great state if you're trying to go there because we have college sports, especially with the Montana Grizzlies and with Montana State University. But even though my state is doing good, my country is not doing well. Right now, the U.S. economy right now is just really hitting down the toilet. And also, what's even worse is a lot of people are leaving the United States of America. No, just ugh. As an American, I really cannot accept that. And here are my two ways on how the American economy can improve. And I will tell you right now. The number one reason why a lot of millennials are leaving the United States right now is because there's just way too many taxes. Like everywhere you go, like if you go to the gym, you're taxed. If you go to a baseball game, you're taxed. Heck, I read somewhere in Oregon that every time you drive your electric car, in Portland or in Seattle or just anywhere, you're taxed. I mean, this country is just taxing people way too much to the point where the common man is just not gonna have any money left in his bank account, and then there's just too many regulations in this country, and then all of a sudden that person's $5,000 is going to be zero, and there's just way too many taxes in this country. And under President Wilson, I would make sure that our taxes are as low as possible, because for the common man to succeed, government needs to stay out of the people's way, and it's supposed to serve the people, not govern their lives. And so when taxes are low, not only does the common man have something in his pockets, but also cities, like myself included, they start building capital. And there's a lot of companies that want to come to Montana. And when that happens, places like Billings, Montana, they could become really big cities, such as Seattle, Washington, that's west of Montana, and also like Los Angeles, that's south of Montana, you know. And so people like money, especially teenagers right now that are looking for jobs, because right now this economy is just not doing very well. And you have people running around like Homer Simpson. Also, another reason why I think I'd become a good president is I would, just like President Reagan, I would strengthen our U.S. military. Because right now our military, they just look like a high school football team. There's just too many regulations and too many laws against our military. And we have to strengthen it again and make our military powerful, because we need to intimidate other nations the same way that Theodore Roosevelt did. And we need to strengthen honor to this country. And also, in terms of how this country can improve, I want to spend money on trying to improve our cities here in this country. And also, just like what Bill Clinton said, to reach an American century. I feel like we can definitely reach an American century. And hopefully with the plan that I talked about in the last clip, that is what we just really need to do. Other countries, just like what happened during the 1900s, they're building empires. And we're sitting there with millennials leaving our homes and moving to Japan and China. And this just kills me. And that is why we need to do those things, because our millennials are leaving our country and moving to places like Russia and Japan. And yeah, so that's why as president, I would do whatever I can to strengthen our cities, and make them good and make them look more futuristic, because we've all dreamed about having our cities look futuristic. And that is what one of my plans will require, is making sure that we improve our roads, improve our schools, because right now there are teachers in the classroom that are acting like, what's the word? They're just acting like crazy people. And there's just too many cops, and law and order is being challenged. It's like we're living in the 60s again. And so that is why we need to strengthen our military. But most importantly, the reason I think I would be a good president is because I would protect our Constitution. Because our amendments right now, they're getting attacked by crazy people. And people want to use these so-called pens to scratch every amendment off the Constitution. And that is not good. We need to protect the Constitution, not destroy it. If you're going to do something new in this country, write it on the Constitution. That's what Abraham Lincoln did. That is what LBJ did with the Civil Rights Movement. And what Abraham Lincoln did when he ended the Civil War. Right now our Constitution is being attacked. Our religious liberty is being attacked. Right, and if I was elected president, I would make sure that our Constitution is protected. Because the Constitution is part of our country. And it always will be a part of our country. But enough about the struggles of this country. Let's talk about something that's good, such as my record as mayor of Billings, Montana. As mayor of Billings, Montana, the job growth has hit 100%. That has doubled since the 1980s. We have not had that since the Reagan administration. I know Billings, Montana was great during the Reagan administration, but now there's a lot more jobs in Montana. People are happy in Montana. And also, our big universities that I talked about, Montana and Montana State, they look a lot more legitimate now, Heck, I have spent a lot more money to make those campuses look like gold. I've made money, making the University of Montana look like the University of Washington or like Washington State University. I know there's only one thing that I do regret, is I didn't spend enough money, trying to convince the NCAA to let the University of Montana be in NCAA football. Oh man, that could have been great. But unfortunately, that proposal died with 30 yays and 70 nays. And that just kills me. But other than that, as mayor, I have spended millions of dollars, improving the University of Montana, but also improving my city as well. And a lot of people will say that I have improved, the city of Billings very well. And I've also worked with the governor of Montana, and he has liked a lot of my proposals. And I will show you all the people that liked all my proposals. Here we go. I lived in Montana for 90 years, and all my time living here, I have noticed a lot of special things in Montana, and I am extremely proud of Mayor Wilson because he has given me a lot of good things over the years. And also, too, I see a lot of good things in Montana. The food prices are down, and my farm is doing very well, and I just thank God that he is our mayor. Yeehaw! I remember one time my school was on strike, and the teachers were just on strike for like 4 weeks or so. Mayor Wilson stepped in, and he fired all my teachers, and he also spent money on a really huge mall in Montana. And for young people like myself, that is just really, really cool. And I think Mayor Wilson, he is a bro, and I like him to death. He's a good guy. My name is Patrick Danger, and I'm from New York City, and I've lived in New York City my whole life. And when I moved to Montana, I seriously had no friends here in Montana. But I really am glad, Mayor Wilson is our mayor, because he spent a lot of money on improving our infrastructure and also creating so many jobs. And now I make $600,000 an hour working as a numbers person, and I am very thankful that he is our mayor. And look at all this money I have. Oh, yeah! You see, my record speaks for itself. You just had 3 people, praising how good of a mayor I was. And also, since I've become mayor back in 2008, Billings, Montana has been a really, really great city. My city might not be as great like Seattle, Washington, or Los Angeles, or San Francisco, or like New York City, but in 2040, I read on CNN Money, and it said that Billings, Montana might have $123 billion. Holy! And it just proves that my city makes a lot of money. And finally, as a candidate, I am announcing my candidacy for the presidency of the United States of America. Goodbye, my fellow citizens. And also, in 2016, make sure that you vote for Mayor Dale Wilson. Goodbye, my fellow citizens. I am Mayor Dale Wilson, and I approve this message. And also paid for by friends of Mayor Dale Wilson. Thank you for subscribing. And if you know any friends that are moving to other countries, make sure, don't let them leave the United States! No! No! And also, don't let the cowboy from the first clip into your house! I hear bad stories about him. No! 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 Hey, what are you doing? You weren't even supposed to be in here! No! 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 Hey, that's my football trophy! You cannot take that! Hey! Hey, I'm getting... Ow! I think I might have broke my leg. Ow!